a song that somehow got into one of my Spotify playlists. I don't know if that's ever happened to you. You're like, how'd this song get in here? I don't remember putting it in there. Maybe I did. Doesn't happen to you? Oh, wow, I'm impressed. Well, maybe I put it in, but I don't remember ever when I first heard it, and I was, my playlist was going along, and then I'm listening to this song, and it's called Resilient, and I thought, oh, this is pretty good. And it's by a group called Rising Appalachia. And this is the opening verse. I am resilient. I trust the movement. I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. I am resilient. Have you ever said that to yourself? Have you ever said it out loud? I am resilient. I don't think I have. But as I look back over my life, I see a thread. I see a thread of resiliency. The dictionary definition of resilient is the ability to recover from adversity, to bounce back after hard times, and to endure even the worst and not only survive, but to thrive as a result. As a species, we're actually resilient. It's our birthright. It's a defining characteristic of being human. Cynthia Stokes Brown, in her book, Big History, talks about our history as Homo sapiens, and that we survived and evolved when other humanoid species died out because we endured and we bounced back from the difficulties that were inevitable for an evolving species. And because of this, we not only survived, we thrived. Brown writes, humans have frequently been in difficult predicaments, yet they have often risen to the challenge repeatedly, applying ingenuity to find fresh ways to adapt and persevere. One example from Brown's book is when the climate changed millions of years ago, or I guess it would be thousands of years ago with humanoids, thousands of years ago, and rising temperatures affected plant and animal life. And our ancestors adapted to these changes, and they started cultivating land and raising livestock instead of hunting and gathering. Another example of their ingenuity was when they started to use fire to cook their food. Now, this might sound a very tasty alternative to a lot of raw vegetables, but it actually, or raw plant material, and it actually expanded their diet. It enabled them to eat things that they couldn't, that might have been toxic to them if they were not able to cook it. And this provided increased nutrients and supported a healthier lifestyle, enabling them to not only survive, but thrive. And most important, I think, aspect for humanoids and Homo sapiens in particular was that we developed language. And language enabled community cooperation, which actually is pretty key to survival. Obviously, a human infant cannot survive on their own. Infants require community to survive, and even if you find yourself alone in the wilderness, you're building on the community skills that you learned in your lifetime to survive as an individual. So evolving Homo sapiens survived and thrived when other humanoid species died out because they were resilient. And as their descendants, resiliency runs in our blood too. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes I don't feel very resilient. Because going back to this song that appeared in my playlist, the song says, "These times are poignant. The winds have shifted. It's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through our backyards, wolves howling out the front." I think this is how the ancient Israelites, who Isaiah was preaching to in our passage today, were feeling. They were in a particularly bad spot at the time. They'd been conquered by Babylon, and as a result, they had lost their temple, their national identity, their self-determination, and therefore their hope. So what does Isaiah say to them? Isaiah says, "Comfort, oh comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and cry to her that she has served her term and has paid her penalty, that she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sin." Isaiah is reminding them that they are resilient, that they will bounce back, that there is hope for a new future, because God is with them, and God has never left them, and God will never leave them. Like the words back to our song, this song takes on a great verse. It says, "You are made of thunder, you are made of lightning, you are made of dirt, you are made of fine things, you are specks of dust, and this world was made for you. So let's go and try our luck." They thought they were out of luck because bad things happened to them. And Isaiah is reminding them that resiliency does not mean that bad things won't happen. It means that you will recover, that you will bounce back, that you will be better when you come out on the other side of this experience. The ancient Israelites and frankly the Jewish people throughout time have shown time and again that they are resilient. And it was the experience of this exile that shaped them and made them who they are as a people. Because of the exile, they changed their theology from God would never let this happen to us. That was actually a theological viewpoint they had, that God would never let anything bad happen to them, never let them be conquered or their homeland taken over. So they changed from that to God is with us no matter what. No matter what happens, God is with us, which for humans is really more realistic. Then when the Jerusalem temple was destroyed again in 70 CE, they transformed their rituals. Their whole identity was around the ritual sacrifice in the temple. And they let that go, and they developed Torah traditions that gave them their identity and hope. So their recovery from the worst of times not only sustained them, but also became the foundation of their faith. And it gave birth to 3 world religions. Talk about thriving. Talk about human resiliency. So the song continues with words that could have been written for those ancient Israelites. I've got my roots down, 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 deep. I've got my roots down, 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 deep. God is always with us, in good times and bad. And this is the root of our faith, the root of our resiliency. This week I attended a lecture about Buckminster Fuller. Who has heard of Buckminster Fuller? Yeah. He was born in 1895. He was considered one of the greatest thinkers of the 20th century, with lots of new ideas about how to improve the world. He's very famous for his design of geodesic domes, but he's also a pioneer in global thinking, particularly the areas of energy and material efficiency. What you might not know about him is that when he was 19, he became a soldier in World War I. And when that war ended, 4 long, hard years later, the Spanish flu pandemic that killed 50 million people began. And 4 years after that, his 4-year-old daughter died from complications of the flu, polio, and spinal meningitis. And then 5 years after that, the stock market crashed, triggering the Great Depression, which lasted 10 years. And during that depression, he loses his job. At that point, he was not feeling resilient. He was feeling like giving up. And he found himself standing on a bridge overlooking Lake Michigan, ready to jump. He writes, remembering that day, I stood there hesitating, asking myself, what can a little, penniless human being do for humanity that great corporations and great political states cannot do? Then he had this out-of-body experience, feeling as if he was suspended above the ground, enclosed in a white sphere of light, and a voice saying to him, you do not have the right to eliminate yourself. You do not belong to you. You belong to the universe. Your significance will remain forever obscured to you, but you may assume that you are fulfilling your role if you apply yourself to converting your experiences to the highest advantages of others. And in that moment, Fuller felt resilient and used all those terrible experiences and that moment on the bridge to propel him forward. He vowed to use his ingenuity to solve problems and make the world a better place for everyone. And it seems that adversity that he had experienced became his motivator for all his good deeds thereafter. And this is the question in the final verse of the song. So what are we doing here? What has been done? What are you going to do about it when the world comes undone? My voice feels tiny, and I'm sure so does yours. But put us all together and we make a mighty roar. This became Fuller's motto. Together, we are resilient. Together, we can face the world's problems because it is our birthright as a species. I don't know what you're dealing with today. Perhaps you're feeling beaten down. Perhaps you're feeling like you can't stand up by yourself. Perhaps you're feeling no hope. And if this is true, I invite you to find hope in your resilient birthright. We will survive and thrive, like our evolving ancestors and like Buckminster Fuller. We were made to adapt, to bounce back, which sometimes can take longer than a quick bounce back, right? I'm not suggesting that that's a quick thing. And we can learn from challenges and become better. So I invite you to say to yourself as I repeat the chorus of the song, make this your message to you. I am resilient. I trust the movement. I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. And then from that last verse, my voice feels tiny, and I'm sure so does yours. But put us all together, and we make a mighty roar. We don't know what tomorrow will bring, but if we look at our history as humans, as we look at our personal history, I'm betting, we can rest assured that we are full of energy and ingenuity, and we will survive. And not only survive, we will thrive, because you are, I am resilient.